Welcome to the LFC Transfer Room. I'm Jack, joined today by Matty. A combined 11 ahead of the debut or the return of Champions League football tomorrow on Tuesday in Budapest. Matty, before we kind of talk about what it would look like if Julian Nagelsmann and Jurgen Klopp's teams are combined, how are you feeling about nearing about 24 hours till kickoff in Budapest?
If you would have asked me after the Leicester game, not very confident. But now I feel confident, a lot more confidence, especially after seeing like Salah, like with the rallying cry, seeing Klopp's press conference, Henderson's press conference. I think I'm really confident, to be honest. I think we'll do them.
A lot of positivity from our guy Chedu in the comments. Make sure to reply if you're on Twitter, if you're on YouTube. Let us know what you would think about our choices. Let us know if you think we're idiots about it. If you're a resident RB Leipzig expert, make sure to let us know about your thoughts of it as well. Kind of to go through what we're going to look at, you have to be fit and able to play in the match. And there are a lot of players actually missing that are pretty high quality for both of these teams. And starting with the hosting team, I say that in quotation marks because it's in Budapest due to COVID restrictions in Germany. No Forsberg, Heinrichs, Leimer, or Szoboszlai. We were debating how to pronounce that. I was wrong. Don't get mad at me. And Kluivert is a question mark. For Liverpool, two Champions Leagues ago, Davies, Fabinho, Gomez, Matip, Van Dijk, Jota, Keita, and Milner, all potentially going to miss out. So a lot of names, a lot of talent that is missing. But we're going to start in net. Former LFC keeper, current LFC keeper, Peter Gulaxi and Alisson. This is an interesting one because this is a case of talent, I guess, versus form.
Yeah.
Leipzig, best defense in Germany, 10 clean sheets, only 18 conceded in their 21 matches, and the 3 just awful errors in the last 2 matches for Alisson. Matty, you take it away. What are your thoughts?
I wouldn't judge the defence. I think if you put Alisson in goal in the Bundesliga, we'd probably have 10, 15 clean sheets. The Premier League's a lot tougher. I'd have to stick with Alisson. I would. Galaxi's a good goalkeeper. His story's an interesting one to see. They didn't make it at Liverpool, and then he ended up going to Salzburg, making a name for himself there before going to Leipzig. But I just think Alisson's by far the superior keeper. He's the best goalkeeper in the world, whether mistakes or not. He's human. And we've seen in the Leicester game, a minute or 2 after one of the mistakes, he pulled out a world-class save. So I agree with Chedu in the comments. In current form, Galaxy, but overall, it's got to be Alisson. He's the best goalkeeper in the world. Form is temporary, class is permanent.
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting one there because also we should mention, I forgot to mention it, is our formation is going to be about a 4-4-2 diamond, very similar to both formations because Leipzig play with the 3 at the back, the attacking fullbacks. Liverpool play with the 4 at the back, the attacking fullbacks as well, with Trent and Andrew Robertson as the players there. So I am in agreement with you on that. I think it's close because of the form, but in terms of the sheer talent, I think we're both going to go in favor of Alisson. Right back, it's a right wing back, Tyler Adams. So it's a bit of a tough one there to ask if he can compete in that spot. I dig him because he's American, and I'm American as well. Very versatile player, plays in the right wing back slot for them. 17 appearances, 1 goal versus Trent with 26 appearances, 1 goal, 5 assists. Been a poor season for Trent. I still would favor him, though. I know we're going 2 for 2 on Liverpool players, so maybe a little biased, but it's going to change in a second. But Matty, your thoughts?
Well, I don't really know too much about Tyler Adams, so if I'm going off that, I'd say if he was world class, you probably know a lot about him. Like, you know about Upamecano. Everyone knows about Upamecano. You know about like Sabitzer and stuff like that. So based on that, I'd have to go with Trent. And I think if I was to pick anyone but Trent, the scouts in our team, I think I get so much hate. But yeah, Trent, he's shown glimpses this season, hasn't he? That he can be as good as he has been in recent seasons. I think the whole team's just off form at the minute, but I'd have to pick Trent. He is the best right back in the world. He's redefined that position, and I think he goes into any starting 11 in world football on his day.
I agree with you on that. It's going to be interesting, though, with this specific matchup. That was a tough word for me. Because the fullbacks are going to be much more attacking, and there's going to be more, I guess, pressure on individually Alexander-Arnold and Robertson because of the left wing back for Alexander-Arnold. We'll talk about him in a second. I think we're in agreement, 2 out of 2 Liverpool players. Yeah. This one, bit tougher to make the argument for a Liverpool player. Nordi Mukiele versus Ozan Kabak. And also, before I get to your opinion, Matty, make sure to let us know in the comments if you have a guy that you like, because we picked, I'll spoil a little bit, Mukiele and Upamecano as our players we're talking about, which leaves out some pretty good, talented center backs for Leipzig. So if you have any opinions, make sure to let us know. But Matty, Kabak, Mukiele.
Kabak.
3 for 3.
I think Ozan Kabak is a really good player who, if Liverpool have been watching him for over a year, he's going to be good. I think we got him. I think we got him now because we had to. If not, we probably would have got him in the summer anyway. And again, that Mukiele, he doesn't start for Leipzig if Canate is fit. So if he's not starting for Leipzig, he's not starting for me.
It is interesting, though, because I'm interested in your thoughts. Kabak was playing for Schalke, who had a very poor season in the Bundesliga. They've played against similar opponents, and they were getting shellacked by other Bundesliga sides. Does that concern you at all when you look at the head-to-head comparison of two Bundesliga, or one former Bundesliga player, one current one?
No, I think when you play with better players, you become a better player anyway. Look at Andy Robertson, Gini Wijnaldum, both got relegated, and then look at them in the Liverpool team, the world class are different players. So I think the same with Kabak. I think he had a good game against Leicester. I don't think he was at fault, which I said on the post-match. And I think having him played against Leipzig previously may help Liverpool because he can give tips on how the attack and stuff. And they play very similar to Liverpool anyway, but I'd go with Kabak. I think if you're going to give me Canate or something to choose from, he would have went in. But if Leipzig had a fully fit team, Mukiele doesn't even get into their team. So I don't think he'd get into the Liverpool team either.
Chedu disagreeing with you, saying Mukiele gets in, but I think I agree with you. Actually, you convinced me. I would have said beforehand I would have taken a Leipzig player there, but still 3 for 3. This one, though, what's the argument for Jordan Henderson? Because he's not a natural-born centre back. What do you say?
I don't think there is one for centre back. Upamecano is world class. He's an unbelievable footballer. That's why Bayern Munich won him. I'm absolutely devastated seeing how much he went for that Liverpool didn't get him. He's world class, and I think he goes into any world 11 on his day. So I couldn't pick Jordan Henderson over him. I couldn't have an argument. Henderson belongs in midfield. He's not a centre half.
I think if we pushed Henderson into midfield, he'd make a pretty solid argument against any Leipzig midfielder. But in terms of less centre backs, you want Virgil van Dijk to make this an argument. And I'm actually interested. The hypothetical. I don't think Upamecano is better than Van Dijk, but is there a discussion that would last longer than about 5 seconds for Van Dijk and Upamecano?
No, Virgil van Dijk's the greatest central defender to ever play the game of football.
Some hot takes today. We're getting some good content from Matty here today. 3 for 3 on that. So 3 Liverpool players, now a Leipzig player. This one we were talking about beforehand. I think we have a bit of a disagreement on this one because Angelino versus Andrew Robertson. Former Man City player Angelino, having a lot of success at Leipzig, playing as left wing back, is actually their second leading goal scorer, leading assister from the left wing back position, 29 appearances, 8 goals, 9 assists. Contrast that to the 23 appearances, or 32 appearances, should I say, for Andrew Robertson with the 1 goal and the 5 assists. Your choice, Matty.
Well, Andrew Robertson has been a standout performer for me this season. He's my player of the year so far for Liverpool. He has been relentless. He's played pretty much every game in the last 3 years. He's our most used player, rightfully so. He's absolutely unbelievable. I think he's arguably one of the best left backs in the world. Probably the one from Bayern. I can't even think of his name now. I think he maybe gives him a run, but Robertson, for me, he's world class, and I love his story behind him going from, what was it, like 10 years ago, something he was skint, he said on Twitter, and now he's like the best back in the world. And just based on current form, I'd say Andrew Robertson. I know Angelino's got a lot more goals than Robertson this season, and more assists, but I think, like I said before, if you put Andrew Robertson in the Bundesliga, he'd probably have better numbers than that. So it's tough, really, but for me, it's got to be Andy Robertson. I've seen Angelino play against Liverpool live, and he's not that good. I think them numbers are very kind to him.
A lot of hot takes today from Matty. Not that good, Angelino. We know he's going to score a hat trick tomorrow just because of that. and Van Dijk best center back in the world. I love your fire today, Matty. I like the comment from Chedu. Robertson has been Liverpool's best player. I'll pull it up to show it for everyone. And I think it's tough because I think Angelino has been in terms of the goal scoring assists better in that regard. But if we're looking at a combined 11, playing as a left back, I think Robertson just about edges it. So I'm going to fold to you again on this one, and we're going to go in that area. We're going with another Liverpool player, which is kind of
comments. They're saying that he couldn't cut it for City. If he was producing them numbers at City, it'd be City starting left back, and he plays Zinchenko, don't he now?
That's true.
So I think the Bundesliga is suited for him. But if you put any of our team in the Bundesliga, I think the stats would be through the roof because there's only about 4 good teams in that league anyway.
Yeah. Defensive midfielder Kevin Campbell versus Jorginho Wijnaldum. Pull up some stats here. 25 appearances, 1 assist for Campbell. Compare that to 33 appearances and 3 goals for Jorginho Wijnaldum. I don't know if Wijnaldum's traditional position is as a DM, or if he prefers to be a bit further up. Campbell more suited to that position. So I'm interested in how you favor this one in terms of a diamond. Who do you want as the holding player in your system, Wijnaldum or Campbell?
Yeah, I'd go Campbell, I do like Wijnaldum, but like you said, he should be playing further forward. Don't get me wrong, since he's been playing the holding role because of all our injuries, he's been world class. He's well better there than putting Thiago there because Thiago's better advanced. And he does add that bit of protection. But I think Genie's wasted being holding. And if you see his performances for Holland, he is just a different player when he's more attacking. So I think based on the position, it's got to be Campbell because Wijnaldum, as Petri said,
oh yes,
it's got to be Campbell. Just based on the position itself, Gini Wijnaldum's not a holding midfielder.
No Ben here today to have the rivalry return between Petri and Ben. No, yeah, I think that was a spot on. I was actually expecting you to pick Wijnaldum. I was going to bring that up. That in terms of different styles, but yeah, I think Campbell. If you want him to hold your team, he's going to be a bit better than Wijnaldum in that regard. If we could push Wijnaldum further forward, I think he could make an argument against some other players. But that's just a product of the injury crisis at Liverpool. No Van Dijk, no Gomez, no Matip, no Fabinho. Means you have to shift players further back. Henderson all the way back. Wijnaldum back a little bit as well. So our second Leipzig player, this one is going to be very interesting. Marcel Sabitzer, the captain for RB Leipzig versus Curtis Jones. You love Curtis Jones. Marcel Sabitzer is another great player, Austrian guy. 25 appearances this season, 5 goals, 5 assists. 26 appearances for Curtis Jones, 3 goals, 3 assists.
I've got to back the boy.
I would say, is it going to be your heart or is it going to be your brain? So you're picking Jones.
Even with me, even brains, I'd pick Curtis Jones. Like, Liverpool fans know how good he's going to be, but I don't think they understand just how good he's going to be. He is going to be absolutely world class. There's a reason Steven Gerrard said he's one of the best he's ever worked with, and that was 3-4 years ago when he was the coach at the under-18s. Curtis Jones is going to be generational. I mean that. And based on current form, I can't say I've seen much of Sabitzer, but with Curtis Jones, he's been our best player in the midfield in recent games. He come off against City and we crumbled, come off against Leicester and we crumbled. Then the fact he's got numbers like that in the Premier League winning side anyway is unbelievable. So for me, Curtis Jones all day over Sabitzer.
I agree with you on the generational aspect, on the fact that he's one of the best players for the future. But right now, you want him on Tuesday. You're still taking him over Sabitzer, 26 years old.
Yeah, his flair, how he is on the ball, he's just got that fire in him. I love watching him. I'm not comparing him to Gerrard, but he reminds me of a young Gerrard. Like when Gerrard had that fire, just a desire to win in him. He's got that scouser in him, and I love him. I absolutely love him, and he goes in me Liverpool 11 now. Never mind a combined 11. So 100% Curtis Jones.
I've been outnumbered. Petri has picked Curtis Jones 2-1. He makes it into our combined 11. This is another interesting one to me because Dani Olmo has been one of the better midfielders for Leipzig this season. Thiago Alcantara, I think talent-wise, you look at the two of them just raw, what do they bring to you? One of the best midfielders in the world. I think if he's in a proper midfield, he could make a legitimate argument as the best midfielder in the entire Premier League. And so you compare that to Olmo, 30 appearances, 4 goals, 7 assists, played a bit deeper as a defensive midfielder as well. for that to the 13 appearances, yet to register a goal or an assist for Liverpool. You take it away. Your thoughts?
If you were going on like what they're like as a whole, I'd pick Thiago. But I've just picked Curtis Jones on that, and Dan says no way. But if you're going on current form, it's got to be Dani Olmo. He's been unbelievable for Leipzig this season. I think he is their best midfielder. His numbers don't lie. I can't believe I'm saying it, but yeah, I'd go Dani Olmo over Thiago. Thiago, for me, we know he's world class. We know he is, but he just hasn't shown it for Liverpool yet, and I don't think he will show it until Hendo's back in that midfield. I think once we get glimpses of it in the Everton game, he was unbelievable, Thiago, for me in that game, and that was when we had a full fit team. What a luxury we had back then. But I think we'll see the best of Thiago until next season when we've got the likes of Henderson and Fabinho in the midfield. So currently, Dani Olmo, definitely.
2 out of 3. I agree with you on that, 100%. 2 out of 3 in the midfield go to Leipzig. Attacking midfielder, number 9, bit of a mixture. Made it an attacking midfielder to bring in Christopher Nkunku, versus Roberto Firmino, who can play as a 10, played there in the Bundesliga with Hoffenheim. 23 appearances, 5 goals, 3 assists for Nkunku. 33 appearances, 6 goals, 7 assists for Firmino. Playing as a 10. Firmino's been up and down. He's had his great games. He has poor games. What are your thoughts on this battle in the number 10 spot?
I've got to go Bobby. Roberto Firmino is one of the best footballers I have ever seen. You don't really get to understand the tribute to your Bobby until you've seen him. When I've been to watch the game before and it's been like a boring game, if you focus on Bobby, what he does, he just drags players out. He takes them everywhere with him. He is unbelievable. And I remember the first few years, everyone in the ground loved him, and he was getting hounded on it by the media and stuff because no one really understood what he did. And in recent years, people have started to understand just how good Roberto Firmino is. He's not a goal scorer. He's never been a goal scorer. His job is to drag the players out of position. He is unbelievable at what he does. He's probably one of my favourite players to wear the red shirt. Definitely one of my favourite players I've seen live. And for me, I couldn't go against Bobby Firmino from a regular match goer. It's got to be him. Got to be. I'd get so much hate if I didn't pick him off the ground when we were allowed back in.
We got 2 different contrasting opinions. You look at his last assist, and then you say, Dan, our guy Dan, he's saying, no, Leipzig's on fire right now. It's definitely an interesting one because...
If you put Bobby in the Bundesliga, though, what would
I think he is getting a lot of good numbers. Nkunku is the victim of a side that rotates a lot, that has a lot of different formations. They don't play a traditional number 10 either. They like to play the 3, the defensive mid, midfield 4, should I say, with the wing backs, and then 2 forwards typically. So he is a victim of that a little bit. But I do agree with you that Firmino, I think his bad matches are still pretty good. I think the issue is he misses his chances, which lowers him in the eyes of a lot of fans. But even when he's poor, he still links to play, and he still has a really good ability to kind of just get the best. Like, you wouldn't see the best out of Salah and Mane without Firmino. So
I think people as well with Firmino, they expect goals and assists, and he's not that. He's never been that. He is always the pass before the pass. If you watch the past 3 seasons of Liverpool, how often Firmino either drags players out of position to allow, like you said, Salah and Mane to create the space to run in, or he's the pass before the pass. It's unbelievable. There's a reason Klopp sticks with him. There's a reason when Jota's fit, Firmino still tends to play. He is world class what he does, and there's nobody in the world quite like Bobby Firmino. He's so unique. He's ultimately like redefined the number 10 position because he's not making chances. He's pulling players out of position for the other people to make chances, and for that reason alone, he's the best. There's a reason he gets said the best in the world, Bobby Firmino, and I stand by it. He's unbelievable.
I think for the shape of the team, Firmino makes it. Now, these next 2 picks, not that they are arguments you shouldn't have, but it's tough to make the arguments against the forwards for Liverpool Football Club.
Yeah.
Mo Salah, Yusuf Poulsen. Poulsen, good. 26 years old. 9 goals, 5 assists, all competitions. 27 appearances. Pretty good. Contrast that to 33 appearances, 23 goals, 4 assists for Mohamed Salah.
Out of any, it's got to be Salah, hasn't it? It's got to be. Out of the two of them, Mo Salah, remember when he was a one-season wonder? It's been 4 seasons now, over 20 goals every single season. He is unbelievable. And I'm going to put it out there and say he is the best African footballer to ever play in the Premier League. He's better than Drogba.
We're getting these takes for free. This is free content.
Honestly, if Drogba was world class, he was world class. I used to love watching him. I hated that he was at Chelsea, but in terms of numbers don't lie. And Mo Salah is so underrated, even by the Liverpool fan base. He is so underrated. He is unbelievable. He's arguably one of the best attackers we've ever had. He's just mustard. There's no other way to describe him. He is unbelievable. He's gorgeous to watch. The way he can cut inside and he can curl and top in. He's got so much strength. He can chip goalies. He can run around goalies. He can do everything really. And Mo Salah at his best is when he doesn't think. When he's got to think about it, he's a little bit. Because when Mo Salah plays without the blinkers on, it's hard to come near him.
I think when you think about not thinking, that goal against West Ham, we just takes it out of the sky, thinks the past keeper. 1 second, he just the ability he has, the instincts he has. So many aspects of his game are underrated. I agree. Poulsen, we're not giving him any credit because he's going up against one of the best forwards of our generation, and I think he's done good for Leipzig. He hasn't been great, but I think something I didn't really mention is that their top scorers in the Bundesliga are split between 5 players with 4 goals. So he's never going to be a standout in that side. Yeah,
to be fair to Poulsen, I honestly thought when they sold Werner, they were going to crumble Leipzig, and they're actually doing all right. They were top of the Bundesliga for weeks, and that's all down to Poulsen. I like him as a footballer, but I do think the Bundesliga is probably his level. I think if he came, look at Werner, he came to the Premier League and shown that how the difference in class in them leagues. So I think that this is no argument. It's got to be Mohamed Salah. Even like Petty saying that you'd have him over Torres and Suarez. I probably would have him over Torres. Suarez is a tough one because
that 13-14 season, good.
Yeah,
I think that individual season, the best I've seen from a Liverpool player in my lifetime. That's what I would take it as.
Yeah. Anyways,
this is not the reminiscing on the past. This is about combined 11 for tomorrow. Alexander Sorloth versus Sadio Mane. I mentioned the next 2 will be kind of tough, and this is why, because you have Salah and Mane versus 2 forwards who are good at what they do, but they're just not. They're just not the same level of star quality as Liverpool. Sorloth played at Palace, moved to Leipzig now. Mane, one of the best forwards in the world for years now. What is your take on this one?
I didn't know he played for Palace. What's his numbers? Do you know them?
23 games, a lot off the bench, 2 goals, 1 assist.
It's hard, isn't it? Because Mane's not in form at the minute, but then I feel as though there's going to be a game where he becomes back to the best. Sadio Mane is one of the best footballers in the world, hands down. I completely agree with Chris. He is one of the best footballers I've ever seen play football. There's that lad who says like he's the best footballer no ifs, but no, maybe he's absolute. He is world class. I love Sadio Mane, and I'd go on point and say out of Mane and Salah, I think we'd miss Mane more if he was to ever leave Liverpool over Salah. We'd miss Salah's goals, but I think Mane is such an unbelievable team player. He's so selfless. I couldn't pick anyone other than Sadio Mane. He probably is one of the best wingers in world football, if not the best. Because on his day, he was better than him, really. People would say Hazard, but I don't think he's that good.
No, I more hot takes. Goodness, you were just feeding.
Hazard at Chelsea, Hazard at Real Madrid. He's just crumbled, yeah.
Yeah. A very good caveat there. That was a good save. Dan still disagreeing firmly with you on the Sabitzer versus Jones pick, and I find that very, very interesting.
I'll never take that back. Never. Sabitzer is a good footballer, but Curtis Jones he's flying the flag for Liverpool, and he's from Tochi. He's a Scouser. If I couldn't sit and pick someone who's not a Scouser, I just couldn't.
Ticking now is going to be our team. Not the most beautiful layout of names. Allison, Alexander-Arnold, Kabak, Upamecano, Robertson is our back 5, including the goalkeeper. A bit surprising considering that there's so many injuries at the back line. There still is 4 out of 5 Liverpool players. Probably a victim of the formation we played. Midfield 4 of Campbell, Jones, Olmo, and Firmino, and even split there. And then the front 2 of Salah and Mane. This team, where does it finish in the Bundesliga and the Premier League?
It'd win the Bundesliga. The Premier League, I don't know, because not being biased to Liverpool, because we are world class, but Manchester City, we've seen in the game against them, they've got the ability to bring people like Jesus and that off the bench. They didn't even have Aguero in the team when they beat us 4-1. Do you know what I mean? The Premier League's a whole different kettle of fish. That's why everyone wants to play in the Premier League. It's the best league in world football, and we'd have a good chance. You'd win the Premier League if you put the big fella at the back, but without Van Dijk, I think it's hard to win the Premier League.
I agree with that. On paper, it'd be challenging, but probably not enough to knock off Manchester City. No, I think this is going to be a good match, though. I think we'll wrap up here. Last few minutes of this broadcast is how you're feeling tomorrow in terms of this tactical matchup. This is a 4-4-2. It's a bit of a mixture of the two sides, but Leipzig with the 3 at the back. How is that going to fare against Liverpool with their poor form mixed with, I guess, the high expectations they should have against Leipzig?
I think we'll win. 3 at the back really excites me, to be honest. Like, Tottenham played 3 at the back against us and we just absolutely dominated them. Playing 3 at the back means there's 1 less in midfield because they have the 2 wing backs. As long as you win the midfield battle in football, you win the game. That's just the basics of football. Midfield win games. So Leipzig are very similar to Liverpool, and Klopp admires the system. Julian Nagelsmann's idol is Jurgen Klopp. So it adds that bit of spice to it. But I think, like I said before, like when we first came on, something's changed in Liverpool this week. With Salah coming out with that rallying cry on social media, after seeing Hendo and Klopp press conference, Liverpool aren't just going to do this for themselves. They're going to do this for the fans. And Champions League football excites me. They can't come back and park the bus like Big Sam would. They really can't. They've got to come out and attack us. And when teams attack Liverpool, we just pick them off. So I honestly think we'll beat them tomorrow. I don't think I'm not going to sit and say, we're going to batter them. I reckon it'll be like a 2-1. It'd be nice to see like a 2-0 and give Alisson a bit of confidence with a clean sheet.
Thanks for the love, Patrick. We appreciate you here. And Dan also mentions it. What would be a combined 11 with everyone fit? So midfielders, Fabinho, does he get over Campbell in your eyes?
Yeah, all day.
Van Dijk over Upamecano?
Virgil van Dijk is the best centre-half to play the game of football. He gets into any team ever.
I don't know if Upamecano has a high standard to reach there. Olmo versus Thiago. I think that one he still edges. Does he?
Yeah, at the minute, yeah. If we got the Thiago that was at Bayern in recent years, he'd probably edge it, but Olmo over Thiago.
And probably Henderson.
I'd probably have Fabinho, Henderson, and Sabitzer to make Dan happy. I'd probably put, if we had them in separate, in like different positions and tweak them a little bit, I'd probably put Sabitzer in with Hendo and Fabinho, and then I'd probably put Jota, Mane, and Salah in.
That'd be a very good team.
And I wouldn't pick Upamecano though over Gomez. I'd probably pick Kanate. I think Kanate's a better defender than Upamecano, but obviously with injuries we don't see enough of him. But I firmly believe if Liverpool wanted Upamecano, we would have got him. And there's rumours of us looking at Kanate. So if there's a reason we're looking at him instead, I trust Jurgen's judgment.
We're doing a pre-match tomorrow, but I want your score prediction right now. Tomorrow, what happens?
I'm going to say 2-0. 2-0. And I think Curtis Jones is going to score a goal to silence Dan. And Mo Salah's going to score a goal as well.
Well, make sure to catch us tomorrow. We're going to be live, both on Twitter, on the YouTube page. Make sure you go subscribe there if you're from Twitter. We got a lot of love on Twitter today. And so 6 p.m., 7 p.m. UK time. I'm on the Eastern time. I get a lot confused by these time differences. Post-match will be there. Matty will be there. I'll be there. We'll have Chris. We'll have Ben. Maybe another Matt from the LFC transfer. Maybe Chedu. We have so much exciting content coming for you guys. Make sure to subscribe there. Follow us on Twitter here. Want to read more? LFCTransferroom.com.
Petry's already rubbing his fingers.
Petry is ready. He's ready. Yes, Petry. That was Chedu. Both are ready for it.
I wonder if Ben says is going to Man City tomorrow.
Well, no, I appreciate your time here today, Matty. Always fun to chat with you. But yeah, I will see you tomorrow. We'll see you here on the channel tomorrow. For myself, Jen, for Matty. This has been LFC Transfer. Take care.
Thank you.